Today we're going to be talking about some rookies and their prospect profiles for Dynasty Fantasy Football. We're going to look at their advanced metrics, what they can do on the field, how they could be valued in rookie drafts, and whatever I come up with. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're talking about these rookies every day, whether we're mock drafting, we're doing prospect profiles, we're looking at the news, we're watching their highlights, workout clips, whatever it is. Rookie camp's going to be here soon. This is what the channel's famous for, and it's going to help you stay up to date on your rookies and for your Dynasty Fantasy Football needs. Click that button. Stop missing out. And we're going deep today. And we had a request yesterday, and I'm filling those requests. Larson. Some of you guys may not have heard about him. UC Davis, FCS back, 5'11", 215. College dominator rating, very good. And this is a running back you need to learn about. I put on the tape. Things look fun. High school recruiting, not much there. 2-star prospect, dual threat, played some quarterback back in high school. So what does that tell me? We have the ability to diagnose concepts, memorize the playbook, memorize steps in the backfield, memorize multiple positions. Smart football player on top of being able to run the football from what we saw at UC Davis. And at UC Davis these last 2 years, we were putting up the numbers. 1,400 yards last year, 5.2 yards per carry, 935 yards after contact, 3.29 yards after contact per attempt, 3.98 the year prior with 1,100 yards. But look at what he did in the receiving game. 83 targets last year. Used heavily in the passing game. 65 balls caught. 853 yards. But yards after the catch per reception. 10.2, 9.2, 11.5, 11.5. What does that tell me? That I get the ball in space. I can make you miss. And I can take advantage of space. So that is something we are seeing at the FCS level with Larson here, an 8 out of 3.8. Usually your 8 out is closer to the line of scrimmage with running backs. Anything positive is an indicator that you're running routes downfield. You go to the tape, you look at what he's doing on the tape, you're seeing a running back here that is getting some passes downfield, that is making some nice one-handed grabs, that you're seeing that can also rumble between the tackles, that can get it done with good vision. He's got good contact balance. A little bit stiff in the hips, but a guy that sees the hole, gets to it, gets through it. But his chops in the receiving game is what works well for fantasy football, is what would marry well if we got opportunity. The thing about him, we're an FCS back. We don't have much buzz. Could be a late round pick. Could be a UDFA, 7th rounder, 6th rounder, UDFA type of player here that we need to pay attention to due to those receiving chops. His ability to make one-handed catches downfield and his ability to eat up yards in space. Didn't do bad on the 40 either. 4.46 if I remember right. So we got some pop in the step. He's got some pull away, but he's not going to be the fastest back in the class. He's not going to light up the track, but we got some pull away here with Larson. The thing about him is the receiving chops and how that could help us in fantasy football. The negatives here are easy because this is the greatest running back class of all time, at least the deepest. If he came out last year, you guys would be looking at him at more of a positive light and be looking at him as a final round pick, wherever your final round is at, but be looking at him as a stash. Watch where he goes as a UDFA. Watch where he goes during the draft if he gets selected round 7, round 6, or something like that. And catch the ball in the backfield. He's got some alright size to him at 215. He's got some pop in the step. Not the most electric runner. Not one of those small school backs with tremendous size and just athleticism. But it's there still. So he's a guy that you're watching throughout his career in the NFL to see if he gets opportunity. He could be a guy that's just hanging around the back of the depth chart, and if injuries hit, he might climb it up. He might climb it up during training camp. He might catch some buzz during training camp. That is something to pay attention to. You may not need to draft him in your rookie drafts. You may not have the space for that, but you need to know the name. You need to watch him just in case. So you pull that trigger real quick off the waiver wire, grab him once you hear any sort of buzz. Rashard Smith, want to go back to him. It's been a while since I talked about him. A good pass-catching running back, which fits well for Dynasty Fantasy Football. 4.39 40-yard dash. The market likes him, but the market's got a lot of running backs to look at as well. So he could be a guy that you're catching at a good value, especially if he lands in the correct spot. That aids to how he plays the game. But we were a wide receiver coming out, ranked 29th in the 2021 recruiting class. Alabama was even after him. Auburn, small schools, big schools. We got 30 offers. That is good. I consider that in the great range when it comes to the offer number on 24/7 Sports. Good is around 20. Great is around 30. Elite territory is 40 plus, maybe 39 plus. So he's in a good range here with 30 offers. That means the market was hot for him as a wide receiver prospect coming out of high school. This wasn't a high school that just happened to play wide receiver. He was heavily recruited to play wide receiver and landed at Miami. That being said, we made the switch at SMU, 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns. We ran a lot of routes as well and got 51 targets, catching most of our balls coming our way. And yards after the catch per reception, 8.1. We do have the speed to pull away. We do see that on tape, 8 out of 1.7. So a lot of our passes at the line of scrimmage, a little bit afterwards. But still, we know we got the speed. We know we got the pop. We know we got the wiggle. We can turn out rushing production. This is a running back to pay attention to, especially if he goes to the right team. Baker Mayfield would be the perfect quarterback for him if they were not log jammed at running back, because he throws it to the running back 20+% of the time, and he's done that with multiple different teams. However, if he goes to a team where he's got the opportunity to get a lot of checkdowns, this could be a home run hitter for you in fantasy football. Project to be a late round pick. High probability of that happening. Could go a little bit earlier if a team fancies his skill set, which could potentially happen. We got a lot of running backs here that are good, that could possibly fall or possibly get drafted a little bit higher than expected. There's just a bunch of good running backs here. These teams are just going to take what they like, and they're going to take the values as they come to them, and they're also going to sit on their hands and just wait for those values to come. They're probably not going to pay up for running backs. A lot of these teams are going to wait. Some of these teams are going to have their tiers out, and they're going to draft their running backs and pay up for them, and other teams are going to sit and wait and take the value, and they may draft their third running back for their depth chart here in this draft, or their second or fourth, or get a training camp body because it was too good to pass up on to see how they compete in camp and just take that value. But it's going to be all over the board here because there's so much talent here at the running back position. He can go a little higher. He can go in this range, but pay attention to Smith here. Kyle Williams out of Washington State has been a wide receiver I've been monitoring, and I've been watching the tape. What I like about him is he's twitched up, he's explosive. You can put him in the slot, he creates separation. It feels like he's always open. He's always available. And he's played with good quarterbacks at Washington State, played with Cam Ward. So maybe he becomes a Titan. Maybe that happens. Maybe he gets reunited with Cam Ward. I would think about that if I drafted Cam Ward and if he's sitting there at a value where there's nothing else that I'm really into. I would thinking about that. But coming out of high school, not many offers. We start off at UNLV. It is what it is. But we get to Washington State. We have 842 yards in 2023. Last year, 1,100 yards, 14 touchdowns. Played with a good quarterback. He's now at Oklahoma right now, trying to change out that program. ADOTs are looking good. 11.5, 10.8, 10.5, 11.9. Why I say it's looking good? Because we're in double digits. We're getting targets downfield, but yet has the potential to get the short to intermediate, create that separation, and get that space. So you're a multifaceted wide receiver that can be moved around. This could be the surprise play. This could be that surprise wide receiver. What I've been saying about wide receivers over the years is that some of them are not going to be super sexy, and some of them are just going to hit randomly because the process at the wide receiver level is different now compared to a few years ago. You're looking at high school wide receivers, they're breaking off routes nasty, and it's a prerequisite to even get looked at from some of these schools to be able to have top-level route running. It's almost a guarantee that most of these wide receivers coming out can create separation off the rip. He definitely can do that, and he's being underlooked. We were in college for a long time. We were there for a bit. That is against his profile. That is against the odds. but skill is skill, talent is talent, and that is something you need to pay attention to at least. You don't have to buy, pay attention to at least. He's also getting jetted up the board, and that is happening slowly but surely. This could be a wide receiver here that you catch on day 2, round 3 range, that goes in the right spot, lands with the right quarterback. He's twitched up, he's athletic, he's very assertive. Those are all traits that could lend to him being successful. He's also an older wide receiver prospect. The prospect profile is not 100% clean. We also have a 36.5-inch vert, so average explosiveness due to that. But still, go watch the tape. You're seeing a hyper-explosive wide receiver on tape that's very assertive and aggressive when the ball's in his hands. Terrence Ferguson, Fergie Ferg over here. When you look at his numbers from the combine, it's looking good. 80th some percentile, 90 some percentile when it comes to burst score. You're seeing a good twitched up tight end with good size, 6'5", 247, a good move tight end. Oregon did a good job allowing him to get separation, moving him around, allowing him to get separation over the middle with those drag routes. He's got sticky hands. He's got sticky hands. Whether he's covered or not, he's got the potential to bring it in. His hands are that sticky. And he was a 4-star coming out of high school, ranked as the 10th best tight end in the class. 28 offers, though. The college football market was pretty hot for him. Pretty hot for him. That's letting you know there's some talent coming out of high school that you need to pay attention to. Not overly productive. 591 yards this year, 43 catches. We run a good bit out of the slot. 3 touchdowns. The yards after the catch per reception's at 9. But they scheme him up very good to where he's getting the ball in space. But we do have some quicks. We're not overly quick, not overly fast on the tape, but quick enough to get the job done. The trait that sticks out the most is the sticky hands, where he catches the ball away from his body, whether it's contested or not. Those tough grabs, it just sticks right in there. He's a very reliable tight end up the seam or just breaking free on the drag routes. He's just going to make the play happen. We got some opportunity for that. And when I look at him, he has the potential to be drafted on day 2. I think there's going to be a run of tight ends, and I think he has the potential to get drafted on day 2. They got him as a 4th-round selection on the mock draft database, but I don't trust mock drafts either. But when I think about tight ends, they usually go in runs, and they usually pop up. I could definitely see him as a 3rd-rounder. I can see him getting drafted a little higher than expected due to his ability to catch the ball, due to what we saw at the combine with those numbers. You have a 39-inch vertical, which is very good for a tight end. He's very explosive. He's got very reliable hands. I expect him to get drafted higher than what the mock drafters are saying. I'm expecting this chart to be a little bit low compared to what we're going to see on draft day. I don't see him getting drafted immensely higher than this, but knowing how I see the board falling from doing a million mock drafts, which is all videotaped on the channel, I can definitely see runs at offensive tackle, edge, and I can definitely see like a day 2 run at the tight end spots, because we're going to have 2 tight ends potentially off the board in the 1st round, and then that player pool is going to come down on day 2. 2nd round, it's going to start. It's going to leak into the 3rd round. Ferguson's going to be somewhere into that range. He's going to have good draft capital. He's going to be a massive discount for his NFL team due to the talent, due to the athleticism. Should be a fun tight end to watch going forward. But let me know what you think, what rookies you're after. If there's somebody you want me to look up even, let me know. Let me know. I'm here to help you. This is what this channel's for. Let me know if there's an FCS guy, D2 guy. I'll look up the tape. I'll find them. I'll look at the numbers. I'll dial it down for you. Let me know. Click that subscribe button, though. I want to thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next video.